I'm interested in how embryos develop. And if you think about it, starting with a single fertilized egg, embryos have to do an awful lot. Our bodies, when we're born, have about 15 trillion cells in them. But we started from a single fertilized egg. So the embryo is a giant construction project. Well, maybe not a giant one, perhaps a tiny one. And cells have to move. Cells have to build organ systems. And they have a set of dance moves that they make to do that. That's what my lab studies. What a joy. What a privilege it is. I get to study these things. I get to understand them in ways that no one else has thus far understood them. That is amazing.
I study cell movement, cell migration. This is how cells move from one place to another. The types of cells I'm talking about are things like white blood cells that move around in our bodies to chase bacteria. What I'm interested in is the mechanisms of how these cells move, how they're able to generate forces to push off their environment and to move around, and particularly when they're in a complex environment, maybe there's gaps they have to squeeze through.
So I'm a coral ecologist. My study is focused on understanding corals, how they work, what their biology is, but also how they interact with their environment and also with other species that they interact with, including humans. It's been the blessing of my life that I have indeed been able to have a career, have somebody pay me as my day job, to have the opportunity to experience coral reef systems on a regular basis and to have that be the focus of my study.
As a paleontologist, an expert on fossils, of course I have to learn a great deal about evolution. I had a sort of intuition that when I came to Cambridge there were some fossils I was looking at which would turn out to be quite important. Speaking scientifically, there aren't many eureka moments. There have been one or two in the distant past. But if you like, rather than saying, should I go through life with my jaw constantly swinging open at surprise, it's more the sort of feeling of overwhelming curiosity about the world around you, the sense that, there are so many things you'd like to know.
I got into science because I liked learning how things worked. I liked being outside. I liked poking around, finding out about plants and animals. So it was very natural for me to want to study biology. I was good at it, so I kept going. Stayed at university for 8 years, studied genetics. One of the things I was doing when I was in the lab was studying zebrafish, which are little, about this big. We kept them in tanks, and I used to watch the embryos grow up, look at their eyes. And that's brilliant because the babies are about this big and they are transparent. So you can see right through their bodies, you can see every bit of their eyes developing, and it was absolutely perfect for studying eye development.
I think one of the things that really makes me appreciate the beauty of the natural world is the photographs we've had from space of the deep structure of the solar system. And I see the planets from Earth and they're tiny. And then you see them close up and you realize how massive, how intricate, how wonderful they are. And actually it just expands and enriches your vision. And for me, that's one of the things that we need all the time, to have something that looks small and simple and suddenly realize how massive and complicated it is. And for me, that's a very important reminder just how wonderful creation is.
Every time I look through a microscope at a living embryo, I'm really blown away by the intricacy of all of those processes, and being able to see these proteins glowing in living embryos using a special kind of microscope has been really exciting, and I just never get tired of doing that. Looking at those kinds of embryos, it's really a privilege and something that makes me excited to wake up in the morning and go to work.